housing observation tool, and we are aware that the ministry already has a tool that it uses. But
I've been part of the first dissemination, as is mentioned. They shared with us the tool, and the tool was basically making learning real for the learners, whereby learners are put at the center of the teaching and learning process.
Unfortunately, we have the same staff at the district. We are only 3 of us, the DO, the DOS, and then the sport officer. We are struggling to manage. Because Future did a lot in the district, has been communicated. They came long time. There's one school, community school, called formerly Progressive. Progressive was started by Street Child.
Actually, education is the one with the biggest partners. But yet, we don't see that big impact. That comes now to Street Child. The data you collect, if not utilized by Ministry of Education, by the DO, and by other partners, doesn't impact us in any way. Data must go hand in hand with the corresponding action. I would really think that Street Child should go beyond data collection. You must also have some actions that are taken. Even follow up with the partners that have to implement. If there is, from your research finding, that there is something that needs to be done by Ministry of Education, then you need to have an action of following up with Ministry of Education until such a matter is basically handled. If there is a matter that has to be handled by the district, then we should have Street Child follow it up until that matter is handled.
By the time the year was coming to an end, around May, issues of categorization, food categorization affected us in all the 13 settlements that we have. And Palabek is among the settlement and inclusive the district that is hosting refugees, and we are still also a receiving settlement. As I talk, we have a population of 96,780 refugees settled here in the 10 zones that we have here in Palabek. And we have about 600 at the reception right now as I talk. So we are supposed to do relocation of those new arrivals to the settlement as well. And if food or livelihood as a sector, if it's affected, then probably education will also be massively affected. So from May to this point that we are in talking here, we've been in discussion and in assessing and monitoring and having reports from the sector working groups telling us that the children from both levels, ECD up to mainstream, up to secondary, we are actually not sustaining them into the mainstream. Or children can also not easily upgrade from the ECD to the mainstream. Why? Because you find that a child at age of 5 cannot sit in class without porridge, without anything to support the stomach. That child will not learn. That child will not, the cognitive, the ability and all that will actually be very low. And you find that most time children run to the bush to check for wild what? Wild fruits to take across, to make sure they, one can come and drink water. We might have water taps and at the compound, yes, in the school, but on an empty stomach. One of the schools where you're going to go for, it was massively invested on by Street Child alone. And we've had a few partners also came in, World Vision came and put in some structures, but still, we are so much appreciative to their donor for investing in that school. When they came, it was totally, all the classes were under the trees. So when they went back, they came and actually built for us good structures, and now our children are attending classes. But we still have schools that are still attending classes under trees. in the 13 schools that we have in the settlement.
Community-led school, from inception, it has its own challenges, but biggest of all was to have shelter. From the tree, like you mentioned, the next structure was a tent, and from the tent we had other iron sheets, makeshift buildings. But when Street Child came on board, honestly, the vision of this whole community and now the response for Palabek settlement, it started what? It started shaping. 95% of all the structures here, it's really the effort of Street Child, and we appreciate. We now have a real big challenge to have learners come sit in a classroom and have a teacher in front of them. 95% of the human resource are being on the project basis. It's really a risk. FCA for now, which has a 2-year project.
Because it involves mindset change, and I think also in the training of teachers, they should not just focus on the content, they should also work on the mindsets of the learners, to appreciate the diversities in the classrooms, and so on. As a community, another arm engages with the community, the teachers engaging with the learners, and it's not going to be harshness, because that is already what they have experienced. So if we use the same, they'll resist it.
Administration take over this issue seriously, because if you leave it like that, it will go out of your hands.
COVID, you've always been aware, most people have come here numerous times to collect data. One was on the social emotional competencies, but also they did a classroom observation where they sat in a school and they were able to see how the teaching goes on between the teacher and the learner, and the interaction there. I also remember coming again here and I captured some video of the teacher interacting with the learners in the same class. The major reason we came here is one, these people to have a feel, of course, first and information from you people about the engaged toolkit, looking at the classroom practices, how does the teacher interact with the learner. Remember running of late with the new curriculum, it is learner centered, where the teacher just facilitates the learning process.
When I look at performance, there's a lot of improvement, because when we came back from Kidbu, we were able to talk to my teachers. We were through the classroom supervision that the team from the Street Child came and did in our school here. The teachers were able to have some improvement on other things. So this has impacted positively on our learning, because when I look at the performance, almost in all classes, P1 up to P6, almost 95% of our learners were able to be promoted to the next class.
So distance alone is one big factor for close monitoring, for close observation from these people at the district. And this would be my request and humble recommendation that the ministry also needs to take it upon themselves seriously, because we have what is called the ERP, that the ministry gets this, there is funding in that line. And if the funding is coming in that line and ERP is coming in because of the refugee window as well, and you're getting support from World Bank and UNHCR because of the refugee window, and you find that sometimes at the district, much as we are saying we've now handed over, the local government needs to take over, manpower is that issue.
Yeah.
So you find that we are limited with technical supervisors who should have come here to support these partners that we have on ground.